Basketball news script, simple version. The first game without Luka or AD was really bad for Dallas. This is exactly what the Mavericks were scared would happen. So, during a timeout, the big screen showed karaoke time. Oh, that's fun. So, this guy pretended to be singing so he could get on TV and say, "Fire Nico." The camera person got really mad and said, "Get that guy off right now," to make things even worse. Security threw him out of the game for doing that. Now, people were really angry, so another guy held up a sign that said GM Nico Harrison, and guess what? He got kicked out too. So every time the new owner got up from his seat to go to the bathroom or something, fans yelled at him, "You ruined our team." But why are they so mad? Obviously because they traded Luka. But also this new owner just said something that nobody can forgive in the game before this one. Ad looked really good for about 30 minutes because he got hurt. Nobody was surprised by that. Fans gathered outside the arena, yelling, "Fire Nico." So this new owner did an interview where he tried to explain why they traded a 25-year-old amazing superstar for Anthony Davis, but he made it 10 times worse. This might be one of the dumbest things an owner has ever said in sports. But before I got married, I had some tough relationships. I mean, marriage can still be hard to... Why do I feel so worried if I don't get a text back right away? Is it normal that the happy honeymoon feeling ends in relationships? These things used to really worry me, but I got answers that still help me today through therapy. Well, my sponsor, BetterHelp, can connect you to a therapist who can help you find answers to some of those questions. Instead of being stuck asking yourself the same questions over and over, you can talk about relationship problems with someone who is trained to help you find real answers. BetterHelp is completely online, making it comfortable and easy to use. I wanted to check them out, so I signed up for BetterHelp, and I had a really good experience. You just fill out some questions, and BetterHelp matches you with a therapist in just a couple of days. They have over 30,000 licensed professionals who know about lots of different things like relationships. The cool thing about online therapy is you can easily switch to find the right therapist for you, which happens a lot, by the way. In real life, it's way more awkward to switch, but online, it's not. They make sure these therapists are really qualified, and their customer service team is there to help if you have any questions. So get help with relationships or whatever you have going on in your life. Just click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/hoops to get 10% off your first month of therapy. But at least the fans know why Luka got sent to LA. So this guy's name is Patrick Dumont. He is part of the Adelson Dumont family who bought the Mavericks from Mark Cuban back in December 2023. Patrick is the governor, which means he makes all the big decisions. It's like how the Bus family owns the Lakers, but Jeannie Buss is actually in control. So Dumont was like, "Yeah, I traded Luka, and here's why." First, he says, "No, we're not moving the team to Las Vegas." Okay, that's just a conspiracy theory. And no, I wasn't being cheap. Okay, I'm not trying to save money by getting rid of Luka. Instead, he threw Luka under the bus by saying, "If you look at the greatest players in the league, the people you and I grew up watching like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, and Shaq O'Neal, they worked really hard every day with one goal, to win. And if you don't have that, it doesn't work, and you shouldn't be part of the Mavericks. If you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us." Wow. Okay. Without saying Luka's name, he's basically calling him a lazy, selfish player. But does this guy even watch basketball? To say that Shaq was one of the guys who worked hard every day is a joke. One of the main problems between Shaq and Kobe was how hard they worked. Shaq used to show up to training camp out of shape. He once waited to have surgery so he could have fun during the off. Shaq said, well, since I got hurt during work time, why shouldn't I also be able to get surgery and recover during work time? Basically, like, yeah, forget the team. I'm trying to have fun during the off season. And also Larry Bird. I love Larry Bird, but this guy got in an actual bar fight during the 1985 finals, which means he was in a bar late at night during the finals. He said, yeah, I make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I like to drink beer and go out and have a good time. I'm human, which sounds a lot like a certain basketball player from Slovenia. And how does he not mention Dirk Nowitzki when listing champions? There's a statue of him outside of your building. But then somehow it got even worse. When asked about his GM, Dumont said, in Nico we trust. We had an amazing run to the finals last year, but before that year's trade deadline, we were not a playoff team. Those trades that Nico made allowed us to reach our potential and get to the NBA Finals, which is true. I mean, getting PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford gave them the defense and depth they needed to support Luka, but Luka is the reason they made it all the way to the finals. None of the other moves matter at all without Luka. I mean, if there's one thing that all NBA champions have in common, it's having a top 5 to 10 player with maybe one exception. So this owner not only showed in one interview that he doesn't know the NBA, but also he doesn't know how to run a team. It's like getting new tires on your fancy sports car and thinking the tires are the reason it goes so fast. Then you trade your fancy car for a broken old car and you're like, jokes on them. I kept those magic tires. You're an idiot. But the old owner actually tried to stop this trade from happening. When Mark Cuban sold the team in 2023, he was told he got to keep making basketball decisions. Well, that was a lie because Dumont didn't even talk to Mark Cuban about this. And when Cuban heard about it, he immediately called GM Nico Harrison. By the way, Cuban hired him, but it was too late. Nico was apparently done with Luka Doncic, and now we know why, because reporter Mark Stein dropped big news. He says that Nico was mad because Luka refused to improve his eating habits, fitness, and attitude toward referees. We know that Nico believed that the injuries would only get worse as Luka got older. So Nico was not prepared to give Luka that $315 million max contract. He was going to offer way less money to the third highest scoring player in NBA history, who just took them to the finals. Now you can see why so many fans are saying these new owners are cheap. They don't care about basketball. They don't want to pay some big luxury tax bill trying to win. They just bought the team because they want gambling to be legal in Texas. That's it. So Nico Harrison believes Luka has reached his best years. Luka's best days are behind him, and we'll see about that. If that's how you feel, fine. But at least get a huge package of players for him. Instead, they got a 6-year-older Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 1 draft pick. So fans looked into Nico's past and they found out he was in charge of that famous meeting that lost Steph Curry from Nike. So there was a famous meeting where Nike said Steph's name wrong as Stephon Wright to his face, and they forgot to change Kevin Durant's picture. In a PowerPoint presentation, Nico was Steph's main contact at Nike, meaning that this meeting was his meeting that went wrong. So to put in perspective why these fans are so angry, it's kind of like when LeBron left Cleveland for the first time to go to Miami. Like, he grew up there and fans felt so betrayed that he would leave them that they burned his jersey. But now imagine if it was your own team that caused the breakup. I mean, these fans went from Dirk directly to Luka, and they know how lucky that is, and they blew it. Look at this neat little chart that I made about how long teams usually have to wait between championship-level stars. Only teams with a title are ones I listed. The Knicks haven't had a championship-level guy since Willis Reed, 51 years. Unless you count Patrick Ewing. Then the Bucks had to wait 38 years between Kareem and Giannis. The Cavs waited 32 seasons before they finally got LeBron James. Some of these I kind of stretched a bit, like AI and Embiid, but you get the point. Good luck, by the way, getting a free agent to go to Dallas now. Kyrie is probably so mad after making the finals last year. Klay specifically went to Dallas to play with Luka. Now, hey, maybe trading. Luka was the right thing, and we'll all look like idiots. But most likely, it could be another 30+ years before they get a player like him again. So fans have every right in the world to boo this guy, Patrick Dumont and Nico Harrison, and not get kicked out of the game. But another star is going to be traded this offseason. Both Trae Young and Kevin Durant are probably going to new teams after what the Suns and Hawks did at the trade deadline. But the number one team rumored for KD is crazy. You would never think in a million years that they've got a shot at a player like KD.